These are your Unit 1A, Day 9 notes. In this video, we are going to review fractions, which falls under the standard 2A. I can rewrite and evaluate expressions. You are going to practice converting fractions to decimals, simplifying fractions, and adding and subtracting them in this video. So let's do a quick refresher about what is a fraction. A fraction is an expression in math that tells us how many parts of a whole. So a fraction is an expression in math that tells us how many parts of a whole we have. Not sure if you heard Sally in the background whining a little bit, but my dog gets very excited about fractions, I guess. All right, so what else about fractions? Well, fractions have 3 parts. The first is the numerator, and the numerator is the part. So let's write that right here. Every fraction has 3 parts: a numerator, a slash, and that tells us what we are dividing. So here we'd be dividing our whole into groups of 2 because our denominator is our whole. So let's put that in our notes as well. All right, a fraction has 3 parts: a numerator, a slash, which tells us what we are dividing, and a denominator, the whole. So if I look right here, this is my fraction. My denominator or my whole is 2. That means every whole that I have, so this is my whole thing, is split into 2 pieces. I'm dividing it into 2 pieces. If I look at this fraction, my numerator, my part is 1. That means I just have 1 part of my whole, and my whole is represented with 2 pieces, okay? Just a real quick visual, and this should be a refresher for you guys. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to practice turning fractions to decimals. So to convert a fraction to a decimal, you have to divide the numerator by the denominator. Okay, so make sure that you have that in your notes. You divide the numerator by the denominator, and let's look at this example. So we have this fraction 3/6. My part or my numerator is 3. My whole or my denominator is 6. I need to change this fraction to a decimal. So what do? I divide the numerator by the denominator. It is essential that you type this in the calculator the correct way. Because we divide the numerator by the denominator, that means in the calculator you have to type 3 divided by 6. 3 divided by 6. So in the calculator, I would type the number 3, division symbol, 6, 3 divided by 6, and I would get an answer of 0.5. Okay? I go to number 2. I want to take this and I want to change 5/8 into a decimal. So in my calculator, I would type 5 divided by 8, and I would get an answer of 0.625, or 625 thousandths. So what you're going to do right now is you're going to pause the video and you're going to use your calculator to change these fractions into decimals. All you have to do is type in 14 divided by 6 and write the answer you get there. So pause the video and try. Okay, hopefully you converted these fractions to decimals on your own and you got the same answer. Let's move on to the next page. I'm going to have you download an app on your iPad called the Fraction Plus Calculator. And it looks just like this. Fraction Calculator. It's Fraction Plus Calculator. So what you're going to do right now is you're going to pause the video and you are going to download this on your iPad. It is very important. It will make your life easier. So pause the video and get this app on your iPad. Okay, hopefully you did. And let's look at what cool things you can do with this app. All right, so I have all these pictures of what you can do with this fraction calculator. So let's look at this first one. So if you downloaded the right app, you should have, when you open it, it should look like this. Okay, you have this line right here. This line represents the slash. The numbers up here, this is your numerator, and the numbers down here are denominator, and this is your slash or your division symbol. So for example, when I type 5/8 into the calculator, I'd click 5 up here because that's my numerator, and 8 down here, 5/8, and then I hit the equal sign. Once I hit the equal sign, it'll show me what the decimal is of this fraction. So 5/8 is equivalent to 625 thousandths. Okay, so that's one thing that you can do, is you can type in a fraction and see what the decimal is by simply hitting enter. All right, let's see. Another thing that you can do is you can, let's say that you have your decimal and you want to see what it is as a fraction, you just do it the other way around. So over here are just the plain numbers, and I would type my decimal into the calculator. So I would hit 0.75, which you can see is right here, 0.75, and then I hit equal, and it gives me the fraction, which is 3/4. So you can go from a decimal to a fraction on this calculator as well. All right. Another thing you can do is you can simplify your fractions, so put them in simplest form. So here, again, we have our calculator. I typed in my fraction here, which was 5/10. I just typed 1/10 on the bottom, and then I hit equal, and you can see it gave me this answer of 1/2. 1/2 is the simplified fraction. This is the fraction in simplest form. So 5/10 is equal to 1/2, or the decimal 0.5 or 5/10, okay? So if I want to put a fraction in simplest form, all I have to do is I type the numerator in, type the denominator in, and hit the equal sign. Right? What else? Okay, now let's say I want to add fractions. Very simple. All you have to do is type in the fraction. So for example, I have this one. I would have hit 5/8 plus 2 7 equal sign, and that equals 51/56. And then it also shows me right here what the decimal answer is. Okay? The big thing when you're using this calculator is that you just remember this is your numerator and this is your denominator. Okay, and that is it. There are YouTube videos about the fraction plus calculator if you want to have even more review of how to use it, but I think that I'm confident that you guys will be able to use this calculator well on your own. So let's go to the next page and start using it. Okay, so in this page of your notes, what you're going to do is you are going to add fractions, and you are going to give the answer in both fraction and decimal form, and all you have to do that is use your fraction plus calculator because it gives you the answer in both forms. So for example, if I'm looking at this first problem right here, I have 1/2 plus 3/4. And 1/2 plus 3/4, if I type that into my calculator, it's going to give me my fraction plus calculator. I'm going to get an answer of 5/4. Or I will get an answer of 1 or 1.25, okay? Using your fraction calculator, you should be able to get these two answers, 5/4 or 1.25, okay? We are gonna skip this part right now. We're not gonna dive real deep into the thinking. Just use your calculator. You can use your calculator always in this class. So type in on your fraction calculator 1/2 plus 3/4. That equals 5/4 or 1.25. 5/4 is a fraction. 1.25 or 1 and 25/100 is your decimal. Fraction, decimal. Okay. So what you're going to do now is you're just going to practice using that fraction calculator. You have your problem right here. So 3/2 plus 3/4. You type that in your calculator. You write the answer that you get. So 3/2 plus 3/4, that is 9/4, or 2 and 25/100, okay? So I got this information using my calculator. So what you're going to do right now is you are going to answer all these questions using your calculator and pay attention to the symbol. You have a subtraction here, addition here, multiplication, subtraction, multiplication, division, addition, okay? You're just practicing using your calculator, okay? You got this. Pause the video and write the answer as a fraction and as a decimal. Fraction and decimal. Okay? Hopefully you used your fraction plus calculator accurately and you got all of these right. So number 2, 1/4 25/100. Number 3, 11/4 2 and 75/100. Number 4, 9/10 9/10. Number 5, ooh, we got a negative 11/40. Or negative 275 thousandths. We have 3/16 or 1,875 10,000ths. 7/9 or 78/100. 7/3 or 2 and 3/10, and 11/10 or 1 and 11/10. Okay? All right, hopefully you were able to use your fraction plus calculator or the calculator that you have to answer these questions accurately. Okay, this is the last page of your notes, and on this page, you are going to be simplifying the fractions. And remember, when you're using your fraction plus calculator, you don't have to write, you just simply do 3/9, and then you click that equal sign, and that will equal 1/3. That is the simplified fraction. So for these, all you're doing is typing in the fraction and hitting equal, and it will give you the most simplified version of that fraction, okay? So 3/3, I hit enter, I get an answer of 1. 5/10, I would get an answer of 1/2, okay? So what you're going to do now is I want you to go ahead and use your fraction plus calculator to answer these questions, and then come back and check your answer, check your work with the video. So pause the video right now, use your calculator, and come back and see if you did it correctly. Okay? Hopefully you did this and you got 1/2, 2/3, 1/3, 5, 2 and 1/2, or you could write it as the improper fraction, 5/2, 2, 1/3, or 7/25. And a real quick reminder about what a simplified fraction is. I have my whole right here, and it's cut into 4 pieces. If I use 2 of those pieces, that could be written as 2/4, or you could also view it as 1/2, because it's 1/2 of the whole is the most simplest way to write that or record it, okay? So go ahead, please make sure you have all of your notes done accurately, and have a nice rest of your day.